the miracles of Karbala. Any miracles have you heard or seen?
It's crazy because I've heard stories, I've seen videos, but when I saw it with my own two eyes, it's like everything in me shook.
The amount of miracles that happen in the shrine today.
Have you seen any?
All sorts of du'as. Personally, I don't know if I should say this one.
You know you have to share it.
Yeah, you can't say that. I'm not sure.
Try to understand what I'm saying.
How many miracles do you hear about the tribe of Karbala?
Oh,
We could go on for hours. He's reciting something, he rubs his hand, boom, the hand's working.
I've heard stories from reliable sources, from people close to me, people who are sick, like in their deathbed, who have dismissed this whole thing. I don't believe in this. And they were still granted the shifa of the Ahlul Bayt.
Brothers and sisters, welcome to the Shia Vibes podcast. And we continue here tonight with myself, Mohsin Shah, and also my brothers, Hussein Sukhni and Saif Ali Khan. Brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum assalam.
The topic for today's discussion is the miracles of Karbala. Now, there are different ways we can discuss miracles of Karbala. We can look at contemporary times. We can go back a couple of 100 years. We can go back to the day of Ashura. We can even go before then and look at some of the miracles of Karbala and what happened. According to many scholars, every prophet and every imam has walked through that land and has done some form of azah and so forth. All the way from Adam to Hazrat Musa, Nabi Noor, Amirul Mu'mineen. Many have walked to Karbala, have sat, have shed blood, have cried on this land.
Correct.
You know, there's a really significant importance to this land of Karbala and the miracles that happen on this land also. You know, let's take a look at if anyone's got any knowledge, stories or anything in regards to before Imam Hussein came to Karbala. What was Karbala? Any miracles have you heard or seen?
Bismillah.
So, you rightfully mentioned Nabi Adam, alayhi salam. There's narrations that upon entering the land of Karbala, when he entered, he stumbled and injured his foot. And he actually shed blood in the land of Karbala. So he was one of the first or the first human who shed blood in Karbala. So that alone tells you the importance of Karbala and how far back it stretches. Sometimes the argument is, you know, well, why do you say the Prophet cried for Imam Hussein? Imam Hussein was born, then years later Karbala happened. But our counter to that is, you know, Karbala was, blood was shed in Karbala muwasatan from Imam Hussein to you know, to feel some of the pain of Imam Hussein from the Prophet Adam alayhi salam.
Some even say that because Abu Abdullah Hussein was in the loins of the prophets, it was his blood coming out. That this is
Allah.
what I am to be slain, and it was his blood coming out. You know, some say that as well. Like that's how significant Karbala is to Imam Hussein.
Ajib. Yeah, no, like we said, the miracles stretch. I think there's more miracles before Karbala than there were after Karbala. But because our minds can't fathom, you know, something happening before an event to sort of foreshadow an event, we don't really accept or understand those things. But no, most definitely, according to our narrations and even according to some scientific, registered scientific theories, things happened in relation to Karbala way before the day of Ashura, way before it even happened.
So the day of Ashura is also significant. Apparently, it was the day of the plagues of Moses. It was the day that the flood of Nuh happened. So that day is significant, and that land also significant.
And in fact, I read online, you was talking about scientific facts that the raining of the blood in Karbala is actually something recorded outside of just Islamic thought or just the Shia sources and stuff like that. And you're right, the miracles just from the beginning to the end just keep coming in. Even the day of Ashura, when we go through the story, miracle after miracle after miracle. For example, we can take companions and like if you take Hur bin Yazid al-Riyahi, his actual coming to Abu Abdullah and Hussein, that in itself, such a miracle. If you understood the status that Hur had and what he was leaving behind, in itself an incredible miracle.
What stood out for me is the fighting. Now, Mr. Sukhni, you know better than me because you have a production in regards to it. But Sayyid Muslim bin Aqeel.
Yeah.
How many soldiers did he fight?
The confidant and the cousin and the messenger and the wakil of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So we'll just give a bit of background for those that don't know. Muslim bin Aqeel, the first cousin, paternal cousin of Imam Hussein, he was sent ahead of the caravan to Kufa to assess the situation.
Yeah.
Because thousands of people sent letters. So upon arriving to Kufa, he had 18,000 people do bay'ah, pledge allegiance to him.
Wow.
18,000. That's an army in itself.
Yeah.
And they say, the narrations say, he started his salah. By the end of the salah, there was not a single person left behind him praying. That's how quick they sold out.
Now, did all 18,000 sell out? I've listened to lectures.
Sell out might not be the best word, because
there was a lot of them killed.
A lot of them were killed. A lot of them were threatened. A lot of them were imprisoned. One of them being Mukhtar al-Thaqafi, for example. A lot of them escaped and met with Abu Abdullah on the journey, but a lot of them did sell out.
What was like the major reason? What took them away from Muslim?
So there was a governor, his name escapes my mind at the time, a governor of Kufa, when Muslim had entered. And Yazid La'natullahi alayhi, hearing that there were 18,000 pledging allegiance to Muslim, preparing for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein alayhi salam, had changed the governor and he had placed Ibn Ziyad La'natullahi alayhi. So he brought in basically fresh legs, new orders, new commands.
Obviously, he would have sent Ibn Ziyad with an army as well.
A fresh army as well. So, Muslim was betrayed by the Ummah, as was Abu Abdullah al-Hussein. But again, this is all part of the plan. Like it's not like Abu Abdullah didn't know this was going to happen. This was all written.
But when it comes to the fighting,
Muslim, he was surrounded. He was outside the house of Taw'ah. He was surrounded. He killed many of them, to the extent that Ibn Ziyad, when they asked Ibn Ziyad for more soldiers, he says, "I'm not sending. Why am I sending you?" Just to remember it correctly, he says, "I'm sending you to one man. What happens if I send you to someone else like Imam Hussein alayhi salam?" Then one of the commanders would say, "You're not sending us to a shopkeeper in Kufa. You're sending us from the family of Ali ibn Abi Talib, you know, the nephew of Ali ibn Abi Talib. This is not any. So they sent soldiers and soldiers, to the extent where people of Kufa around him will start throwing stones at Muslim. So from one side he's defending himself against stones being thrown, and from the other he's fighting, and he was still fighting until they dug a ditch behind him.
That was a theme of theirs, right? They had to resort to some sort of trickery.
Exactly. So he was cornered into a ditch, and then how can you fight when you're in a ditch? Yeah. So that was who you're fighting, and that's the cousin of Hussein ibn Ali. Now think about Abu Fadl in Karbala. Think about what he done in Karbala. It's said that again, I don't want to take it too far off topic, but it's said that Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam, he fought so valiantly that he threw the left flank onto the right and the right flank onto the left. And that's not Abu Fadl. If Abu Fadl had been given orders to fight, he wasn't there to fight. Abu Fadl had certain orders, was to bring water to the camp. If he had been given orders to fight, the army would have engulfed itself. So that's the warriors we're talking about. This is who we're Bani Hashim, you know, the family of Abu Abdullah.
Even Own and Muhammad. The sons of Sayyidah Zainab Salam.
Very young boys as well.
They were, I don't even think they were 11.
One was 11, the other was 14.
11 and 14. And they said when they went to fight, Abu Fadl Abbas alayhi salam, Ali al-Akbar alayhi salam, would watch him because they used to train them. So, you know, like a proud teacher would or coach would watch their student to go into, you know, whatever their you know, activity is. So they watch them fight and they were smiling. They were so proud the way these two brothers were taking on the army, and the army had to resort to splitting them apart because they couldn't take them on together. The tactics and the sheer courage and bravery that they had,
nothing short of a miracle.
Honestly, the pride in when you hear the stories, especially when you're a kid, you don't deep the ages so much, but think an 11-year-old against, it's like a David and Goliath sort of moment. An 11-year-old against, and not just normal enemies, by the way, these were
trained soldiers,
grown men.
War.
This is the Banu Hashim.
But one thing people don't realize as well is Karbala wasn't a okay, we have arrived, let's fight situation. There were pre-battle agreements as well in place.
There was a dialogue, negotiation.
There was dialogue, there was negotiation.
Like any wars.
Like any wars. So there was an agreement, for example, there'll be no arrows shot.
That was the first thing they did.
The first thing they did was shoot arrows.
In Salah. Fajr Salah.
In Salah. In the Abu Fadl Salamullahi alayhi. And like, I don't want to get into the details, but there were arrows shot. One of the pre-battle agreements was one-on-one fighting.
Yeah.
Which was not honored. You know, they surrounded the names of the Ahlul Bayt. Now, the stand of Karbala in itself was a miracle. You know, the fact that Abu Fadl can split an army in two and make it to the battle. How can you make it to the river when there's an army between you and the river?
And just for the listeners, how many people were between Abu Fadl and the water? They say up to 30,000.
Yeah.
Do you know how many soldiers Bani Hashim killed in that battle? It's recorded up to 72 men, right? It's recorded up to, I think, 11,000 men they killed. 11,000. And they said, how did they do it? And this is a miracle in itself. They said one of the tactics was that they would ride away from the army, so the army would chase.
Yeah.
And then they would turn and head face onto the army. And the army soldiers would be so scared, they would turn around. And then what would happen technically is a stampede. So
this side of the army would come.
Yeah, a lot of the soldiers would just crash into each other.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen like any of these live production plays that they do in Karbala. And once 2 days after Muharram, I went to see one of these plays, and obviously this is just a depiction of some type. When you see Abu Fadl Abbas, the actor who's playing Abu Fadl Abbas, and you see the way he goes through the enemy's ranks, it puts a lot of stuff into perspective. 3,000 men is a big number because there was only 1,000 actors. A large number of actors, but only 1,000 of them. But the way you see him go through and you see the flag of Abu Abdullah, like you're thinking this guy was a miracle without a doubt.
Of course.
Without a doubt.
Which reminds me, they have shabihs in those, we call it in the tashabih. So one of the shabihs is Tifl al-Radi', or some call Ali al-Asghar, alayhi salam. So there's a lot of people who don't have dhurriya, they don't have a lineage, they can't have kids.
Yeah.
So they take some tabarruk from this actor who's acting as the baby. He's a baby, 6 months old baby. He doesn't understand what's going on. But the fact that he's portraying the role of Abdullah al-Radi', Tifl al-Radi' alayhi salam, who didn't live more than 6 months. The fact that they have just a bit of tabarruk from him, just literally wrapping their hands on this baby and do another in his honor, they get blessed with babies. And it's happened to people close to me.
That's a miracle.
And I've seen it happen.
I'll tell you something, I'm not even joking. Wahhabi women, the daughters of the Salaf, the Salafis, come to the alim of Abu Fadl Abbas and ask for children, and they get. And in my city, the Wahhabis, they look after the Jalus, the Masira that happens on Ashura and so forth. They're there with guns and they watch and they protect the
They have to, because they know the eye of Abu Fadl.
Yeah, they go, we are the children of this mannat, this nadar. Without this, we wouldn't be here today.
And even not just Muslims, like even if you go to see the Jaluses that happen in India, Hindus, Sikhs, there's Sikhs that attend the majalis of Imam Hussein because of their attachment.
Yeah, but why? It's not even a case of aqeedah anymore.
No, it's the generosity of the Ahlul Bayt.
They've seen that generosity, bro. They've asked and they've received from the Ahlul Bayt.
I have a Sikh friend, and the Sikhs are very encompassed with the way of the warrior, and for them, Abu Fadl is a very, very big role model. Abu Abdullah Hussein standing up for justice and righteousness is a big, big role model. Imam Ali, they say, is like the greatest warrior.
It's a whole different religion.
Even they have Dhul Fiqar in honor of Imam Ali in their in their weaponry and stuff like that and so forth. They recognize warriorship and bravery and so forth, and they come and attend to pay their respects also.
And another thing, when I was actually discussing with one of the non-Muslims, because his family, they've got this affection towards the Ahlul Bayt, Imam Hussein, and I asked him why, and his explanation to me was actually stunning. He goes, do you know when you're going through a difficult time in life? And I think, if I remember, the situation was they were struggling to have a child, his parents, and you pray to their gods, they try their traditions, they try everything. He goes, you will try anything that works. And when you fall upon something that works, that something which in their case was asking from the love of Abu Fadl Abbas. Generation after generation, each mother swears that go to this guy, he will give. They're not Muslim, they're not this, they don't believe in God.
Yeah.
But they swear because the generosity of the Ahlul Bayt is such that, okay, fine. You don't follow our book, you don't follow our Lord, but we are the generous.
You came to us.
You come to our door, we don't send you back
Sheikh
with nothing.
Banju, shout out to Sheikh Banju, God bless you. He did a beautiful story of a Hindu couple who couldn't have children. And the husband, his job was to dig graves and stuff like that. And he went to the alim of Abu Fadl Abbas and asked for a child and said, whatever child you give me, I'll give it to you.
Allah.
So they were blessed with the child. He went and he goes, right, I have to give this child to Abu Fadl now. So he digs a grave and he put the baby, it was a baby girl as well. And he put the baby in the grave. And he goes, even when I put the baby in the grave and I was letting go, she held onto my finger like that and I let go. And he goes, I buried her and I gave her to Abu Fadl. And he goes, when I came home, my daughter was in her cradle at home. And I went to my wife, what happened? And she goes, when you went, someone knocked at the door and it was a tall man and he had a cloak and he opened the cloak and he had a baby. And he goes, whatever we give to our, as gifts, we don't take back. Yeah. And he gave the baby back to the mother.
Allah. And that's Abu Fadl himself.
Yeah.
Let alone the trab that they stepped on. How many miracles do you hear about the trab of Karbala?
Oh,
before Karbala,
could go on for hours.
Before even Ashura even happened, the amount of narrations, solid facts that we have. Yeah. Jibreel alayhi salam came to Rasulullah and presented him with a vial called a qarura, which has some of the trab of Karbala. Rasulullah gave this to who? To Salama, knowing that she'll still be his wife, knowing that she'll still be around. Yeah, one of the good wives, knowing that she'll still be around during the time of Karbala. And he told her, this is the soil of Karbala. I'm paraphrasing him. Just know, Salama, when this turab turns red, just know that my grandson has been killed on the land of this turab, the land of Karbala. So that's before Karbala even happened, you know. Let alone the amount of narrations that when they say the khasa'is of Imam Hussein are 3, which make him stand out from the rest of the Imams. 1, dua is answered under his dome. 2, the Imams are from his lineage. 3, shifa is from his turab. وَالشِّفَاءُ فِي تُرْبَتِهِ. So we talk about miracles day in, day out, about the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam themselves. But we don't even need to go there. We just need to look at the trab, just the dust, the earth that was beneath.
They used to say for the Imams that their sweat will fall on stones and they will turn into jewels.
Allah.
You know, this is who the Imams were, and there's many miracles that they have. But the amount of miracles that happen in the shrine today, you know, people are coming with all sorts of du'as. Personally, I've seen videos and clips of blood coming out from certain rocks and things like that.
I saw that with my own 2 eyes.
Was it a time where we bumped into each other by any chance?
No, in Sham.
Okay.
So 2018, I went with a group, Ejaz Sheikh's group. Subhanallah, just to give you a background on that as well. I wasn't able to go Arba'in that year.
Okay.
Work, finances, a lot of reasons. 2018, there was no way I was going. So a couple of weeks for Arba'in is the istishhad of Sayyidah Ruqayya salamullah alayha. So I went to Al-Hasan.
Yeah.
And before I went there, I called him. I was like, boys, let's have a majlis in honor of Sayyidah Ruqayya salamullah alayha. I said, Nidhar, I want to have this because I'm not going to be able to go Arba'in this year. I want to do it. The same day we done that majlis, I was granted a ticket to visit Sayyidah Ruqayya herself in Sham for Arba'in.
MashaAllah.
That same night.
MashaAllah.
And that's like a first-hand, miracle I experienced. And I hadn't been there since I was probably 5, 4. So for me, this has been like, not just, I don't say a dream come true, but I couldn't accept it. I generally couldn't. So the trip itself was a miracle. Now, okay, we arrived, we settled in, Sham, everything. Heartbreaking from the moment I set my foot into the city till the moment I left. We went to Masjid al-Amawi, the place where, he gave his orders to
the palace. It's known as the Umayyad Mosque now.
The Umayyad Mosque, which people don't know, by the way. John the Baptist is buried there. Nabi Yahya. He's buried in the courtyard. So when Sayyidah Zainab gave her speech, her talk, her khutbah, her sermon, it was next to the grave of Nabi Yahya as well, John the Baptist. Just people don't realize that. But anyway, around one of the areas of the mosque is the maqam of the head of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, where they left the head of Imam Hussein. With my own two eyes, you know how they have the designs on the shrine and like the name Al-Hussein ibn Ali al-Hasan. The one that said Al-Hussein ibn Ali on the actual mausoleum, on the shubbach we say, I started seeing red forming, a very pale red. And then all of a sudden, it started getting darker and it started resembling blood in front of my own two eyes on the night of Arba'in. And that was, I think, the most, awakening miracle I've witnessed in my life. It's crazy because I've heard stories. I've seen videos. I've seen those MP3 videos, not even MP4, the MP4 really old school videos of 3G. The minaret bleeding in Sham and stuff. So we accept these miracles 100%. I never doubt the miracles of the Ahlul Bayt because there's been more. Imam Ali returned the sun. He can't show us these signs, But when I saw it with my own two eyes, it's like everything in me shook. I'm like, there's no way, even if someone had 1% doubt in their heart, in their minds, in their souls, there is no way you can't accept what Abu Abdullah, what his sacrifice meant and what happened on the day of Ashura meant, and how that was the epicenter of creation itself, in my opinion. What happened on that day, like you mentioned earlier, musibatan ma a'zamaha wa a'zama raziyataha fil Islam. There's nothing like what happened in Ashura, and everything that surrounds it is a miracle. Through the aza, through the I'll tell you another one actually, even though I'm sure you all have your takes.
Go. Please, it just enlightens your heart hearing this.
I'm telling you, it's like this. It just opens up.
It's making me want to go to Karbala so bad.
Bro, a lot of the time we don't realize the miracles until you actually want to think back and realize the miracles. Do you know how many people I know, and this is abundant amount of people, who get their murad just by stirring the niyaz of Imam Hussein?
Sorry, get there?
Stirring the niyaz, the thawab of Imam Hussein, the langar, whatever you want to call it. People who have hajat, deep hajat. He goes to the kitchen. I'm one of them. You go to the gidar, the pots in the kitchen, that the zawar and the khaddam of Imam Hussein are going to eat from. This is the thawab of Imam Hussein. Stir it, ask for your hajat, and leave it there for Abu Abdullah al-Hussein.
Wow. Sometimes
you don't need to ask. Sometimes you just need to say, my haja is in your hands. Like I think you mentioned something earlier as well. Just say, my haja is in your hands. That's it, khalas. Abu Abdullah knows what's good for us.
Indeed.
And the amount of stories are out of this world.
I mean, I think when you're when you're against the wall and in a place of desperation, and our musibah is nothing compared to the musibah of the Ahlul Bayt, but yet we still look at them for shafa, for guidance, for help.
But the thing is, I've learned as well, it's not even about when you're in a place of desperation. 100%, when we're in desperation, we turn to the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam. But I think they are so generous that even when you have everything and you want to be selfish about what you want, ask. Don't feel like you're being selfish when asking from the Ahlul Bayt. They are the Kareems and we are the subjects.
And like you said, just the turab. Like how many people do you know on their deathbed, final moments, and maybe the family's not religious, but you're saying they're pushed onto that wall and they dig deep and they say, okay, fine, even if it's dust, just put a bit of dust and that's it. You hear miracle after miracle. So many people who have had shafa.
I've seen this with my own eyes. There's a brother, I'm not going to mention his name because maybe he doesn't want to be mentioned. He had a dislodged disc in his spine, and the guy was like always like this and stuff, going to majlis, this and that. And one day I saw him, the guy was running to the alam to say salam to the alam, and I'm like, yo, what happened, this and that? And he goes, bro, I went ziyarah, I went to Abu Fadil. All I did was I rubbed my back on the shrine of Abu Fadil. Bro, this guy was getting gel injected into, I think 2 of his discs were a bit displaced and stuff, and he was getting gels injected and so forth. He goes, I went, he goes, I did my ziyarah, did my salam with sincerity and yaqeen. I asked for shafa'a from Abu Fadil. I rubbed my back on the shrine. He goes, instantly, I felt something. I felt a tingle, a sensation. Instantly, I felt, the guy is running now, bro. The guy couldn't even walk properly. I mean, he was bent, straight, normal, running.
But
I was going to say, it reminds me of two stories, actually. The first one is, I think maybe like 2012 or something like that. We were honored to be given, for a short time, the flag from the dome of Abu Abdullah Hussein.
Wow.
And this was a time,
what an honor.
this was a time where many people, like, alhamdulillah, so many people have gone for the ziyarah of Abu Abdullah. Back then, from my community, I think maybe a handful of people. To the point where I remember when my brother was younger, he went for the ziyarah with my mum and dad. When he came back, I remember people literally grabbing his hands and kissing it because they hadn't met someone that went. Anyway, so we had this flag. And firstly, we took it to the Hussein. It wasn't Ashura Day, but I have not seen, I don't even know the English word, like ronak. Like,
okay, sure. Commotion.
Commotion. I haven't seen commotion like that in my community center, just the flag, because it had been on the dome of Imam Hussein. But there was one particular story where there was an elderly couple, and I remember one of their children, they contacted my father and said, look, my parents are really old, they're unable to leave the house. They weren't able to go for ziyarah. Please, if you have some time, just take the flag to their house. So it was a duty upon my father. So I went with him, and we went to the house, and it just felt like normal. We went to a few houses, and it felt quite normal. The elderly woman came, she kissed the flag and everything like that. The man leant over, kissed the flag and everything. And as we were walking out of the house, the guy got up, he came outside just to watch as we were leaving. Felt quite normal, right? And the lady starts crying, and we thought, okay, they're crying because the flag of Imam Hussein has visited them, they're emotional, etc. The person who had asked my dad to go and visit calls him up and says like, I heard the old man came outside. And my dad was like, yeah, he goes, he hasn't stood up in a very long time. He hasn't left the house. He hasn't been able to stand up in a long time. And I don't know what within him gave him the power to come out because of the flag. Like just the flag of Abu Abdullah,
which is not even his flag, which is a man-made representation.
Yeah, I'll tell you one. Not. I mean, I'm not gonna play down the flag. There was a guy who was in very, very severe condition in hospital, and he kept telling the doctor, "I need to go see my doctor. I need to see my doctor." He's like, "You're in the hospital. I'm your doctor." He goes, No, you're not my doctor. I need to go to the majlis of Abu Abdullah. I need to go to that is my medicine. That is my remedy. And the doctor's like, "You're not well. You're quite seriously ill." I was like, "No, I need to go. They said, "All right, fine. Go get your family or whatever. We'll let you go. Come back and everything." The guy went for a couple of majalis. He got better like this. All he needed was to hear the majlis of Abu Abdullah Hussein. He needed to cry a little for Abu Abdullah. And he's still alive, by the way. He's fine.
And you know, if there's any like non-Shia or people that don't attend the majlis listening to this, they're probably thinking, yeah, like some crazy exaggerated stories. But for us, it's very real. Like we've seen it. So many have seen it. It's not exaggerated. You know how real it is.
Do you remember I took an Englishman, Martin Modlin, for ziyarah?
I was there that year in Mashaya.
I don't.
He had cancer in 3 places, I think. It's stagnant. It wasn't spreading anyway. He stayed there. He wanted to visit Amir al-Mu'mineen. I took him there, took him Karbala, Baghdad, the whole lot. He's still alive today. His cancer's gone.
Subhanallah.
His cancer's gone. And I asked him, we're trying to get him back on the channel. Martin, if you're watching, please come visit us. We'd love to get a proper catch up and your condition of your health, an update on your health. But I asked him, I go, do you think that ziyarah had a part to play? And he goes, I won't put it past me. 100%. Me going there has helped.
What you mentioned earlier as well was important about, with sincerity. If you take this stuff serious, then the shafa is there. I've heard stories from reliable sources, from people close to me, of people who are sick, their deathbed, who have dismissed this whole thing. Taken, so the Turba Hussein just reluctantly, it is what it is, I'll take it. I don't believe in this. And they were still granted the shafa of the Ahlul Bayt.
Wow. It's crazy.
Even those that don't believe, the Ahlul Bayt are not just Kareem for us. They're Kareem for everyone.
They're not the Imam of the Shia, they're the Imam of everything.
What's his name?
Of everything, literally.
Everything, man and jinn.
Avram Grant. Remember Avram Grant? Chelsea manager.
Chelsea, he's Iraqi Jewish, from Baghdad. Yes.
And even he says, I used to go to Imam Musa al-Qadhim.
Avram Grant.
Yeah, Avram Grant used to go to Qadhimiyya, to Imam Musa al-Qadhim, Imam Jawad. Yes. And he goes, because these Imams were for everyone. They were for the whole of Baghdad. It weren't exclusive to the Shia. He goes, the Christians, the Jews, we would all go visit and we'd ask for hajat.
And I say, by the way, to the people that haven't gone for ziyarah, when you go for ziyarah, what do you see? A lot of people think, oh, it's a Shia thing. No, it's really not. You see groups of Sunnis, you see groups of Christians.
Yes and no. I think yes and no. I think the Ahlul Bayt alayhim salam are not just for the, like you said, for the whole of creation, but I think you need to have some sort of wala to them, some sort of loyalty to them to be able to say, we are of the Ahlul Bayt.
But the ones that I'm talking about, you're talking about Sunnis that you've spoken to, and they're like, yeah, without fail, I go for ziyarah.
Bismillah, come to ziyarah, but don't try to own the.
When you speak to them about the aqidah, etc., it's a whole different story. But there's no doubt there's that love there, or that belief that if I go to this man, he will give to me.
Yeah.
And there's one story that's just been playing on my mind the whole time we've been talking, and this is actually a story that I've kind of like almost first-hand witnessed. And it started when I went to Canada for a wedding, and there was a guy from Birmingham who married into one of my family in Canada. And a few years later, my grandma was on the phone, and we found out that a glass pane had fallen on his hand, and he had nerve damage, and it was irreparable nerve damage, and he wasn't, like, his hand had basically to some extent become paralyzed. And they tried a lot of treatments and stuff like that. It didn't work. Anyways, so I hear nothing about this because I'm not that close to that side of the family or whatever. By the way, if that family are listening, I swear I love you a lot. But it goes further down. Then one year I'm on ziyarah, and someone goes to me, oh, do you remember that boy from Birmingham that married into the family and everything? And I'm like, yeah, of course, yeah, I remember. They're like, watch this video. The video is before the video, he's walking, and some random Iraqi comes up to him, and he says, I saw you in my dream. And he says, I saw you in my dream as well. And they both seem a little bit baffled, but he goes, I feel like there's something I needed to recite. So they sit down, he grabs his hand, he rubs it and begins reciting something. This part's in the video. He's reciting something, he rubs his hand, boom. That's it, hand's working. And the jaw dropping, like when watching the video, because by the way, this is someone that I know. Just and that's it. Like, it's almost as if it happened in front of my own eyes.
It can't just be stories if everyone knows someone that's had a miracle. That's the thing. It can't just be.
No, it's not made up.
And to the extent, someone told me, because we were having this discussion about the legitimacy of it. He goes, I tell you, go to the streets of Khadmiya, go into the alleyways, find any book. He goes, there's one particular book, I forgot the name of it, but he goes, there are book after book after books of people's own stories of this. Like
diaries.
Of people have just written their experience, and there's people that have gone around collecting experiences from different people. He goes, don't tell me it's fake.
It's definitely not fake. But these are all, we can argue, these are all sort of ad hoc experiences or ad hoc miracles. But what miracles are there that are annual, fixed, doesn't change every year Ashura?
For Ashura? Me personally, I think for Karbala, I wouldn't just say Ashura, but the amount of people that visit Abu Abdullah Hussein alayhi salam annually.
That itself is a miracle. For a land that can't hold more than 2 million people, 25 million people.
That's what, 30 to 50 million pilgrims every year, no? Karbala. Just Karbala.
Just Arba'in, that week of Arba'in has 30 million.
Yeah.
And just to put that into perspective, London's population is what, 18 million or something?
It's the size of Brent.
And we're one of the most densest cities in Europe.
London is about 6 to 8 million. The whole country is about 60.
Yeah.
No, not even Brent. I'd say Karbala is the size of Harabara.
And all of that in Karbala, almost half the population of the UK, of Britain, of England, in Karbala.
So that's one miracle. Give me one miracle that you know.
I could, honestly, I'm struggling to filter them out.
The one miracle that I think is something that's undisputed and happens in front of the naked eye that no one can argue with is the tarab of Imam Hussein turning red on the day of Ashura.
Yeah.
And every year, without fail, on the morning of Ashura, around the time of the maqtal of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein, Ruhi lahu al-Fida, that tarab turns red. And it's there in the museum, at the back, in the locked safe museum of the shrine of Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Okay, is it specific tarab? Is it tarab of the grave? Is it tarab of the actual land of Karbala, the battlefield?
No, it's the tarab of the grave of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, where he's actually buried.
Okay.
Yeah. That same tarab. Even though, so people argue, where is Karbala? Is it the whole city with the villages?
What is considered Karbala? Yeah,
because obviously there's ahkam there as well. Where do you pray?
Your full salah,
etc. So most ulama agree it's the ha'ir Al-Husseini. So it's we say the Wilaya area, sort of between the river and the Mukhayyam and that.
What would you call it in English? The surrounding area of the shrine?
The surrounding area, but it's not as tight as people think.
It's about 100 meters each direction?
I think a bit more than that.
About a kilometer.
Yeah, but it doesn't reach like Hayy al-Hussein and those areas. Yeah, it's just.
What would you say up to Markaziyah?
Yeah, I'd say the Ha'ar. So yeah, it's a bit hard to explain, but it's a fixed area in Karbala.
The facility around the shrine.
So as much as they want to expand the city, that is
what's considered
Karbala,
Karbala,
the
the Muqaddasa.
Yeah.
And the rest is
the whole thing is Muqaddasa, I think, in my opinion. Anywhere where the Zawar set their foot going towards Imam Hussein alayhi salam is Muqaddasa. The Mashaya street is Muqaddas, in my opinion. Even though that wasn't there traditionally, people will take the palm trees and the other routes. But yeah, that turab from the grave of Abi Abdullah al-Hussein has worked miracles. Miracles after miracles.
I don't know if I should say this one.
You know you have to share it.
Yeah, you can't say that and not share it.
But I want you to guys just try to understand what I'm saying, right? There was a time where they were rebuilding the foundations of Imam Hussein's shrine. So they dug deep towards his actual grave because the foundations were that to rebuild everything. They were saying that whenever they did the Masaib of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, people were collapsing, people were dying, people died. And they're like, how come, what's going on? He goes, bro, we're so close to the grave.
Allah.
The grave is like where, normally when we go to the Dhari and stuff, we know the grave is deep down, right? It's not even 6 foot, probably even deeper, 10, 20, 30 feet. That's why sometimes I like to go to Sardab. I believe I'm a bit closer to the grave, going down into the basement rather than going from the top. But when they were doing the foundations and so forth, you could just imagine behind that curtain, or there's a pile of rubble just over that is the actual grave of Imam Hussein. And that's what they say, you know, that you will die from grief from the musibah of Abu Abdullah Hussein. And they had to stop doing majalis. They said, until we can, fix the foundations and build this up, we can't carry on. People are dying.
People are dying. If the skies are weeping blood for the Musab Imam al-Hussein, and that's written in
English history,
in English literature, and I was looking at it the other day as well. English literature that's got nothing to do with Karbala, nothing to do with Tashayyu', nothing to do with Islam.
Rained blood.
But on that specific day in the Gregorian calendar,
October
that coincides
6/10, something like that.
Something like that. My memory betrays me, but that coincides with the day of Ashura. He would mention what we mention in our narrations about the sky.
Raining red,
and the raining of blood.
Yeah.
SubhanAllah. And even on that story, there's a story that I remember hearing at the shrine of Abu Fadl Abbas, where and I think is very commonly known that there's water that flows around the grave of Abu Fadl Abbas, and within that is a miracle because he's the one who brought water for the children. Allah. Right? He's the one who went to get water, and when you hear it, if you've been to Karbala, it is a desert. Yeah. And how is there water flowing?
There's a river.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a river. But
Euphrates is a big river. It's bigger than the Thames.
It's massive.
It's massive.
In terms of width or?
Yeah, width and length. It's really...
There's a poet that says, I'll give you just one couplet. He goes, how can you be thirsty when you are the master of water?
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
تعطش وانت رب الماء. You are the Rabb, you are the master of the water. How are you thirsty? And that alone is a musibah in itself.
Yeah.
Son of the man, and I mentioned earlier, who turns the sun, can't control the water. No, there's hikmah to it. There's lessons.
And they've tried to block, because apparently when you go to Abu Father's grave, it's surrounded by water.
They've tried to bury it.
They've tried to do everything, redirect, and the water keeps coming. And then a lot of the poets...
something's from above.
A lot of the poets say that, Abu Father, you went to the water, now the water will come to you.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
And so forth. And even Abu Father, if you guys give me permission, there was a story of how a mother brought her son. Son was about 15, 16. He was dying, and she brought him to the shrine of Abu Fadl Abbas. And she was like, you are Bab al-Khawaij, I'm going to pray for my son. I'm not leaving until he's cured. Old school, they tie a rope to the like that. In his land, she's doing ziyarah, she's reciting, she's crying, listening to the musibah, everything she can do. Suddenly the son dies in her lap.
Allah.
She's like, I'm not going. No, I've come to Abu Father. I'm not going.
This is an old story. Yeah.
And then they say the son, after a couple of minutes or so, woke up. And then they ask, what happened? Like, what did you see? And he goes, I died, and what I saw was there was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi and Abu Fadl talking, and Abu Fadl goes, look, I've got this Haja, come in, and the son is died, but this is the Haja from the mother.
Allah.
And the Rasulullah goes, we can't do anything, it's his time to go. He says, no, but it's a Haja, like someone's asked me, I'm Bab al-Hawaj. And he goes, look, sorry, it was his time. This is Allah's
can't
decision.
say no to someone who asks.
You know what I mean? And yeah, I can't say no to someone else, but Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam goes, no, but it was his time. This is Allah's decision. He has to go. These are the rules. And Abu Fadl goes, okay, no problem. I do not interfere with the rules of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But this Bab al-Hawaj title, take this away. Because someone has asked and I'm not going to provide. They said the throne of Allah shook and said, no, we're not taking away that title.
Allah.
The brother woke up. He lived for another 7 years.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
How lucky we are, honestly.
Salamullah alayka Abu Fadl Abbas.
Brothers, thank you so much for your insights, your stories. And I mean, we haven't even touched upon some of the miracles and stories of the locals, of the scholars.
Of the day of Ashura.
Of the day of Ashura and so forth. But there's a lot more people can like read upon, a lot more people can talk to. And I think the most important thing is please talk to the elders who live in Karbala. The Karbalais are very, very well versed with the traditions of Karbala, the stories of the local stories. They've seen a lot. They've heard a lot, passed down from generation to generation. Even some of the things that they know about Ashura was passed down from their ancestors. Correct. Who were the Ansar and those who helped about Imam Hussein. So if you can ever get in contact with the Karbalai, especially an elder senior, please have these conversations with them. They will tell you amazing, amazing stories about Karbala. Correct. And may you always carry the banner of Abu Hussein alayhi salam. This has been Shia Vibes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.